Brain is an unusual character in regards to design. With his large cranium, small body, crooked tail, and centralized facial features, he makes for a great silhouette, albeit a challenging cartoon to draw. Although I am not a professional artist, I hope that these tips and tricks will help make it a little bit easier for you to get the hang of Brain's odd proportions and break them down in a way that's easy to understand. In this demonstration, we'll be focusing on three varying angles of Brain: a three-quarter turn, a profile view, and a front-on shot. I'll also be showing you three different ways of drawing the head of the character: the skull head method, the butterfly effect, and lastly, my own personal style. For the first example, we'll hone in on the three-quarter turn. One method you might employ when drawing the character is keeping in mind the outline of a skull. With a large forehead, big eyes, small nose, and small jaw area indicative of such a shape. Next is what I like to call the quote-unquote butterfly effect. This method involves imagining Brain's facial features with the silhouette of a butterfly, with the eyebrows making up the top half of the wings and the jowl area making up the bottom half. This is actually a technique that I did not invent, but is rather one that I came across online. Sadly, I cannot remember who originated it, but if anyone out there does know, please alert me so as I can give them proper credit. Remember to keep most of Brain's features centered around the bottom half of his face, including the muzzle, mouth, and cheeks. Last of all is my method. Brain is drawn very angular, at least in the reboot, but I tend to substitute sharp, edgy lines for smooth, round ones, keeping the character petite and adding in it a lot of fur and fluff. Notice how I start with the nose. This is because I consider it the center point of the face, and hence a starting point from which to branch off of. This is simply my method. It does not necessarily have to be yours. When drawing a character, it's best to start with simple shapes that make up their overall construction and build on top of this with detail. While I do utilize this strategy, I also tend to add in the detail as I go, namely because I've drawn Brain so much that I'm very comfortable doing so. I would not recommend this if you're a beginner, unless it's a technique that works for you right off the bat. Notice the compromises I make. Smaller cranium, fluffier features, softer lines. Were I to draw him accurately, I would study the model sheets, pick out screenshots to copy, and sketch him over and over in the style of the reboot, until I got his design down. In this case, I got used to drawing Brain in his original design first. Then, when I got more comfortable with his overall structure, I progressed to fleshing him out in my own style. This comes with time and practice. Alright, let's try a different angle. This time, a full body profile view. I'm going to start with a loose gesture, focusing on getting down the basic flow of the pose and the simple shapes throughout. Notice how I indicate the line of action. A long line going through the body to indicate the spinal curve and general flow of the stance. For that enlarged cranium of his, why don't we think of it as a biker helmet in shape? And for the nose, it's a very rounded triangle. Don't be afraid to erase and adjust as necessary. Here, I removed the line indicating the bottom of the quote-unquote helmet shape so as to better place the right eye and eyebrow. Keep in mind that I'm drawing Brain more in my style in this instance, and so have shrunken down the size of his head to suit my preferences. See how I built the basic form of the body first and then built upon it? The feet, for example, started out as simple, almost triangular shapes, and then later I added in each individual toe. Same goes for his paw. Let's go over, once again, how you can take this pose and break it down into a basic, easy-to-understand form. Rounded, biker helmet-ish head. Soft-edged triangles with a nose and ears. A bean or pear-shaped body. Basic indications of the arm, paw, feet, tail, and eye areas. Keep it loose, keep it simple, keep it fun. For our last example, let's take a front-on shot. Once again, that skull shape is very noticeable, and if you round the edges and make sure to add in a muzzle, eyebrows, ears, and other features, you get something that looks rather like our favorite little megalomaniac. You can also utilize the quote-unquote butterfly effect, planting in those wings and branching off from there. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Even here I took some liberties, but we know who the character is and the attitude remains intact. Finally, we'll give my style a shot one more time. Sometimes employing those simple shapes first and building off of said foundation, other times diving right into the detail. I'm taking even more liberties here, changing the angle of the head and body a little to add a bit more emphasis to the pose. As we end on a last quick example of keeping your initial sketch simple and readable, I'd like to emphasize the most important thing about drawing. Have fun. If you find yourself getting stressed out or frustrated, take a break and return to your sketchbook or tablet or whatever you may use later on. Drawing can be a challenging process, especially when it comes to slightly more complex characters such as Brain. But remember to not lose sight of what makes it enjoyable for you. I hope that this has helped you get a better grip on how Brain is designed, and perhaps inspire you to try out your own methods of drawing him. In my experience, the more I got used to his structure, the more fun he became to draw. My wish is that you come to the same conclusion. Happy sketching!